Good evening, loves, and welcome to A Taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with a taste of Poet Veronica J. Good evening, loves, and you know how I like to get this party started with Deepest Thoughts by Lavina, Expressions by Lavina, and My Dirty Little Secret. All available on Amazon, or you can personally order them from me. And if you're in the tri-state area, I will deliver them to you personally. Good evening, Brian. How are you doing this evening? Thank you for joining. How are you doing today? I hope you had a great day. I'm just waiting for my guests to arrive. I'm feeling pretty good. Oh, you know what? Let me put on my glasses so I can see what is on the screen. Coco Janelle, thank you for joining. Oh, Brian, thank you so much. You're so kind. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're doing good. So, well, I guess, let me see, what could I possibly talk about? My day was great, Brian. Thank you. A little busy, but it was good. I didn't get a chance to get exercise in yet, but the night is not over. So exercise is on the menu. And Coco Janelle, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. We're just waiting for Miss J to get in the. You know what? Let me send her a request to see if she is. Um, she might not be aware that I'm online already. Um, Okay. I sent her a request. Good evening, Brooklyn in the house. Thank you for joining, sweetie. I appreciate it. We're waiting for our guests to arrive. And I hope you guys also had a lovely Valentine's Day. Because I know mine was a little tasty, I should say. And yes, it's Tasty Tuesday. I think I'm going to start calling this day when I speak to people on Tuesdays and say good Tasty Tuesday to everyone. Who knows? We'll see. I'm coming for you coming for the hat and the closet, my hat closet and those earrings. Thank you, sweetie. You know, you guys know I love jewelry and fashion period, clothes, all fashionable. I'm with it. I'm looking at it. I'm looking for it. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. Welcome to A Taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with a taste of Poet Veronica J. Good evening. How are you?
Hey, how are you? It's so good to meet you. In
Thank
person
you.
is, or up close, I'll say. It's
Yeah.
we see each other in these poetic streets, but it's
Yes, yes, yes. It's
yeah.
nice to meet you
So
outside.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wait a minute. Let me say, you guys, tonight, this is not an open mic. This is a one-on-one interview. On Tuesday evenings, I only have one person in. Now, when I do pop-ups, yes, you're welcome to come in. But tonight, it's all about Veronica J. Cox in the building. So now, Veronica J. Cox, she is a poet, a writer, author, and an IG host. Veronica, you started writing in high school. What prompted that?
Ooh, I think one thing that most writers and poets share is it's usually something that goes on with you that triggers that. For me, it was therapeutic. I started writing because it was an outlet for me. It was an easy way for me to vent, to get feelings out that I had a hard time of conveying when I was younger. And it was just a lot of things going on in my life at that time. And I was a quiet kind of kid, so I was never really vocal. I was more stoic, I guess you could say. So I didn't always, I wasn't one of those people that expressed. I internalized. So yeah, so it was just easier for me to say things with a pen rather than to vocalize that. Um, and it definitely helped me through some really rough moments, to just be able to get that out. Because when you go through different types of trauma, um, different types of things that happen in your life, it's just easier, to put ink and pen together rather than talk to somebody about it. And I'm quite sure a lot of people can relate to that. So I just, for me, it was just, I had a lot that I just would not say. And I just felt that it wouldn't really make much difference at that point, I guess, if that makes any sense. And so, just being able to, it just flowed on that paper. Just something about being a poet and being able to, it's like you bleed basically on paper. And so I started that, I would say probably around the age of, ooh, I'm going to say about 12.
Mhm.
So
Now,
it's when I
Veronica,
really started. Hmm
sorry not to cut you off, but because you said, poets, did you know you were a poet then?
Uh, I don't think I really had a word for it then. I just knew that it was easy for me to sit down and write things. Um, I could just kind of sit down and have something in my head and just put it on paper. And back then it was all about, well, rhyming. I guess you figure all the words have to rhyme or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I would have a concept and I would sit down. Sometimes I could write a poem in 5 minutes, 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Um, and the more I did it, the more I enjoyed doing that. And I wanted to get better at it,
Mhm.
but I still didn't know what I wanted to do with it, or I didn't even think that it was possible to do anything with it at that age.
Right.
For me, it was just like a personal hobby at that point.
Right. Now, can I ask you, and this is not to put you on the spot, and I'm really asking
Hmm
because I don't know, and
hmm
because I don't know, I'm digging talking to you right now. Where did the word poet come from? I mean,
Hmm.
like, you know what I mean? We
Yeah.
never even, well, for me, I never even, until you just was talking about it, and then I asked you, did you know you were a poet? And I'm like,
hmm
where did it come from?
That's a good question. I grew up. I really don't know where it originated, to be honest. I just know that as I got older, that word started to become a little bit more commonplace because, in addition to me writing, I'm a big nerd. I like to read, and I like to read all kinds of different genres of
Mm-hmm.
books. And I got into Shakespeare, and I got into Keats, and all these different people. And that's when I realized, hey, okay, this is a little different because poetry, when you read poetry is a little bit different than reading a book, so
Mm-hmm.
to speak.
Yeah.
And I just like the eloquence of it, the flow of words, the visualizations.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, what is this exactly? And then as you learn, okay, this is poetry. Okay, so that's what that is when you put certain words together and you visualize it. And it was beautiful to me. So I said, okay, so if that's poetry, and it's like, oh, he's a poet or she's a poet. And I was like, oh, so I guess really fundamentally, regardless of where it originated, it's just someone that is really eloquent with their words. I
Right.
would say. At least that would be my definition.
Yes, yes. I like that. I like that. Question number 2. What do you do to prepare learning your poems, learning to speak them? Like, I mean, because everybody has a different method of how to use
Yeah.
some of the things that you do in order to learn to speak your poems without reading.
My process is I like to sit down and think, first of all, what the topic is. What am I going to talk about?
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, I write all different types of poetry, as far as political, as far as, romantic. I know that, I have kind of been focused on erotic poetry for a while now. But no matter what I'm writing about, I usually kind of just sit and think, okay, how do I want this to go? And I basically structure it in my mind before I even start to write it. I always keep something with me, whether it's a voice recorder, whether it's just my phone. It used to be paper, but with technology, you know how that goes. So I'll get a concept or some words and I'll just start talking about something in my head or word, just kind of like wording it vocally, and I'll jot it down, on my phone or with my voice recorder, and then go back to it, because sometimes things come to you and you kind of want to catch it in the moment, because if you don't,
Exactly.
then you'll lose what direction you wanted to go in.
Right.
And with me, as I've gotten more advanced,
Hmm.
I like to play on words. I like to basically, it's fun to me to be able to use words that normally people would not think would go together,
Hmm.
and make them flow in a way that makes sense.
Right.
So, and it takes time to do that. But sometimes you can write a poem. For me, there've been poems that I've written in a half an hour, 20 minutes. And then there's been poems that have taken me months to finish. Just depends on, because you don't want to force it. Sometimes I get in a groove and then stop, and I just, I don't want to, because if you force it, then it won't come out the way you want it to. So I just leave it. And then like I said, other poems will just come right out. Um, I have a poem that is in a woman's erotic anthology, actually, and I wrote this poem, as you were referring to me being a host. I'm one of the hosts on Grapevine Sway, and we had a program that we did called Scent of a Woman. This was back during the summer,
Hmm.
and it was like an erotic show, erotic poetry. And this particular poem I wrote literally an hour before the show. I just finished it before I walked in to go live. And this is a poem that ends up in a book. So it's just like you just never know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's great that you know how you want it to flow before you write it.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I write mine and then get hear the rhythm of it to
Hmm.
speak it. So that's awesome that you can do that. And now I also must take this time to say, whoever's doing hair, I used to do hair. I did hair for 25 years, 28, sorry,
Okay.
28 years. And your stylist is killing your hair. It's just fly. I'm like, at this point, it's your brand. So if I seen you without a fly cut, I'd be talking about what happened. Something's going on with Veronica. So I love your
Yeah.
hair.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will let him know. I actually was just there earlier today. So, I've had him for, I've had the same stylist for about, I think it's been almost 10 years now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but we kind of took a while to get to where I am now, as far as this goes, because my hair used to be a lot longer,
Mm-hmm.
and um I wasn't. It got to the point where, between work and everything else, I really wasn't taking care of it, and
Mm-hmm.
how that goes. So you start
Right.
getting split ends, and and I said, you know what? Let's cut it down and just start off again healthy. And
Right.
that was supposed to be the plan.
Right.
But somehow the hair just started getting shorter and shorter. So, and so we finally got to this, and it's funny because now anytime it starts to grow, and I said, okay, I'm gonna let my hair grow out. But as soon as it starts to grow, I'm like, no, 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 cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it. But
Because
yeah.
it's easier when it's short. You just put the little
Mhm.
scarf on or a little thing
Mhm.
and keep it
And go
moving.
about your business. That's
Mhm.
right. That's right.
Mhm.
And I have a standing appointment every 2 weeks, so with him.
That's it.
Um, yeah. I mean, I can maintain it. I can maintain my hair, pretty well, but I can't. That's what. Yeah, that's why he's the stylist because I can't mimic exactly what. Even when I do it, it just still doesn't look like it does when he does it. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what's
And
up.
I'm just now, it's funny because I didn't even realize my hair becomes, oh, your hair, you're cut and this and that. I'm just really flattered by that my hair has become such a statement piece, I guess,
I'm
in
telling you,
addition to the
honey, when you
poetry.
walk out and that hair is done, I'm telling you, it's like a fly outfit.
And it's just you feel so much better too when your hair is done. When you're looking the way that you want to look, it makes you feel good on the inside, and it shows. It
Exactly.
shows.
Exactly. Yes, I totally agree. Now, I've chatted and I'm gonna chat some more, but
Hmm.
they want to hear a couple of poems. They want to hear a taste of Veronica J. So
All
please,
right.
can we get a taste?
Sure. Well, I know, like I said, I know I'm known for my erotic pieces, and I will do one of those, but I think I'm gonna start off with something different, and it's more like a signature piece for me. It's one of my favorite poems that I've done, and it just basically talks about how I came to be where I am,
Okay.
or the state of mind that I'm in. So. And this one is called A Hard Lesson. Not too long ago, I learned a hard lesson. And that lesson was to let the pain go because my coping mechanism was suppression. I lived daily with demons, demons masquerading as memories that intertwined with the negative thoughts those memories produced. And that production led to a constant feeling of fear.
Mm,
The fear that those demons would continue to take up mental real estate until positive thought was at risk of being displaced by invasive gentrification.
mm,
On occasion, my positive thoughts were allowed to breathe, but those occasions were fleeting. Because before those thoughts could gain momentum, they were trampled by insecurity and self-affirming affirmations of considering myself undeserving of love and happily ever after. I wasted precious chapters of my story giving parts of myself to people who I now realize weren't deserving of the time and energy I invested trying to reach the unrealistic bar of worthiness they had set for me.
mm,
I tried desperately, but inevitably the joke was on me because it wasn't designed to be obtained in the first place. Just a carrot dangling in my face to distract me from the fact that I was running in place, never gaining ground. See, my inner voice was screaming at the top of its lungs, but my actual voice never bothered to make a sound.
mm.
I allowed myself to be boxed up like yesterday's garbage and put on the side of a road that was a cross between the streets of a rock and a hard place. Still unable to trace myself back to a time that I felt comfortable in my own skin. I tried again to conjure up the images of happiness that were hanging off the sides of my consciousness, trying their best to tap into my mind and open my eyes before there were no traces left to attest to who I used to be and the strength that I once carried within me. Before I let it be camouflaged as weakness and set down in front of me like some unholy talisman meant to keep my dignity just out of reach. But the funny thing about pain is that the trauma of its sting is designed to teach. Teach you that true strength was born from all of those moments when you felt weak, when your knees buckled under you and the future looked bleak, to transform you by the fires of your adversities into a person who knows they are worthy of everything good that life has to offer, and to let go of all the things that caused you to doubt and feel less than under the burden of a weight you should have never had to carry. I learned a hard but valuable lesson that both my mind and my time are invaluable blessings, only to be shared with someone who will complement my magic and keep me guessing. Support my aspirations without character assassinations while feeding both mind and body, because at this point in my life, I carry myself with the pride of knowing that I'm perfectly created by the Creator and not meant for everybody. Because not just anybody should be allowed to be a part of your progression. And when you start to self-love, you're going to lose some people along the way. But you see, it's all a part of the lesson. That's that piece.
Ladies and gentlemen, poet Veronica J just gave us a taste. One on poetry, Mr. William Washington, said her delivery makes pain feel so good. Yes, I'm telling you, girl, I am so glad that you came in. And Brooklyn in the House says, say that. Yes, because like you said, this process, this life and pain.
Yeah.
At one point, I was going through so much pain. I was like, okay, God, I'm ready to check out. Because this,
Right. It's
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I meet people, they like, I don't understand how people want to kill themselves. I'm like, you might not, maybe you haven't been through anything, but I'm telling you, I have had some level of pain where I'm like, that's it.
Yeah, definitely.
You
You
know?
just never know what a person is going through or has been through,
Yes.
to get to where they are now. And it has been a long and painful road. I mean, a lot of lessons learned. And, my great grandmother always used to tell me hard heads make for soft asses. And she was completely true, because when I look back on things, see, and that's the thing, as you get older, your perspective changes.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think that, oh, I made all of these decisions and these bad decisions and went down these roads that I shouldn't have had to go through. But now when I look back, I have a different way of looking at it, because I really think that had I not gone through those things, as painful as they were, I don't think I would be in this space, and I don't think that I would be the person that I am right now. So,
Yes.
uh,
Exactly. And I totally agree with that. And I also believe it wouldn't be as much pain or a continual pain if we would have learned the lesson the first time and did
mhm,
so. different. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
it took me a minute because I got up one day and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, God, hold up. Now, I've been to church almost every day this week. I done scream, jump, holler, and I'm still
And still
crazy
going
on
through it.
Monday. I was like, something wrong with this picture. And
Right. Right.
and that's what I learned. He was like, because you keep making the same decision and you don't
Right.
get the same outcome. I was like, honey,
It's like Groundhog's Day. You just
just keep
keep
trying to
doing the
show me
same thing. If you
20 something.
don't,
You're
yep.
gonna repeat
If
it.
you don't see it, you're gonna just keep doing the same thing.
Yeah,
And that can be said for anything, just
yes.
regular, just your regular life itself
Yeah.
and relationships. Because if you don't get things right within yourself
Come on.
and fix those things that are wrong with you, then what you're going to do is you're going to keep repeating the process and you're going to keep meeting the same exact person in a different form.
Girl, you better say it. And that's why I came up, well, with the slogan, always choose to love yourself more. And I launched a campaign, which is still
Mhm.
going on, because I was so busy focusing on other people and not
Mm.
taking care of me.
Mhm.
That I, I could, I had to end up having surgery, and it could have been way worse than it was
Mm.
had I kept focusing, my attention on everybody else. But I just kept felt this press in my spirit, and I was like, and it was saying, you need to go and get a mammogram. So
Mm.
yeah, so when we don't pay attention to ourselves and we don't take time to
Mhm.
heal, we just carry around so much mess and
Oh
things
yeah.
get worse that don't have to be
Mhm.
worse.
Yeah, it manifests itself in different ways when you do that. But I had to learn personally. That was a big lesson actually, because I was that person that would go that extra mile. I would bend over backwards for people and put myself in a bad situation trying to help somebody else. And I, even with some, again, even with a lot of the, relationships that I had early on,
Mhm.
because if you don't love you,
Come on.
then that comes out in who you choose to be with and what you allow. If
Yes.
once you get that sense of, you know what, I love me, then you attract differently. It's
Yes.
almost like people just when you're in that space and you're struggling, it's like blood in the water, and it
Hmm.
and people just circle like sharks. They know,
Hmm.
oh, wait, she got low self esteem. Let's zero in. Let's
Hmm.
zero in on her. But as soon as you get to that point and say, wait a minute, no, I'm not accepting this. I'm not tolerating this. No, I feel this way. I know what I'm worth. I know what I bring to the table.
Come
And
on.
when you start thinking like that, it's like garlic to vampires at that point, and they leave
Hello.
because they no longer want to be around. They can't be around you because your energy is different. It's
Yes.
it's funny how that works. You don't even really have to do much. It's just that internal, when it's like from the inside out. And when you start shining that light from within, then they scatter.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it weeds people out. And it can be painful because it also sheds a light on those people that shouldn't have been in your life.
Hmm.
And you'll see those people fall off.
Hmm.
But it's because they're supposed to fall off.
Right.
They weren't supposed to be there in the first place. They taught you a lesson, but
Hmm.
they're not supposed to be there. Some people are supposed to be permanent in your life. Some people are just,
Temporary.
seasons. Yeah, some people are vines and some people are just leaves.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
eventually they fall off.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to learn, and it's okay. It's okay for those people to leave your life.
Hmm.
I was that person. I would try to I put myself in a box, and because I was like, oh, if I speak my mind, if I say what I really want to say to these people, they're gonna leave, and I'll be alone. But now I'm good. It's fine. You can go. It's all good now. And,
Exactly.
and
I
that's the
love it. I
difference.
love it. I love it. Yes. I totally understand what you're saying. Because I decided I'm not jumping through another hula hoop for another nobody.
Mm-mm.
Nobody's
No,
going
if you're not
whoever his
feeding me like I'm feeding you, you have to have people that pour into you the way that you pour into them.
Yes.
If they're
Yes.
not willing to do at least what you're willing to do, then
Yeah.
why are you there?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a waste of time, really.
Yes. Exactly. That is it in a nutshell. I love that. I love that. I know this isn't a poem, but it was poetic. Okay. Okay. Now, um, what do you wish to accomplish with your writings?
Oh wow. There's a lot of different things. It's kind of multi-layered with me. I can say this, and I've been asked this question just about poetry writing, things like that from different people. Um, just to give a brief history. I always talk about this. COVID actually is responsible for this, for me being here in this space. I had no Instagram presence before March of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would perform locally, and you get comfortable with that because these are the people that you know. This is your community. Um, Getting on Instagram was stepping outside my comfort zone. Definitely stepping outside the box because it was such a bigger platform, especially then because we were all home. No one really had anything to do. On average, they'd be about maybe 30, 40 people in a live back then. And I told myself I'm gonna make myself uncomfortable. If I'm uncomfortable, I'm gonna do it. And started to do. I said, if it makes me uncomfortable, yep, that's what I need to be doing. So I forced myself to start following different platforms. And I said to myself, you know what? Get out there and do it. You're scared, so get out there. That's all the more reason. Um, and it forced me to it forced me to get out. It built my confidence,
Mm-hmm.
and it helped my poetry progress
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of different ways. Um, and what I want to do is I want to basically break barriers is what I want to do. Because especially being a woman out here spitting poetry and I did not expect to be an erotic poet. I really did not expect to even mess with that genre. I was such a shy, I'm really a shy person, really, but it definitely broke me out of my shell. I will say that. But as far as the erotic side of my poetry goes, I want to just pave the way. I want it to be where women can say what they want to say because there has been such a double standard. Um, you know, men and I love my male counterparts, but there's a double standard. If a man gets on and he's talking about, oh, I want to do this and I want to be this way sexually, then it's like, oh yeah, that's great. Yes, say it, spit it. But when a woman gets on there and she's forward with what she wants and she's expressing her sexuality, then it's like, oh, hmm. So I want to normalize women being able to say what they want. Men are not the only sexual creatures. Women enjoy it too. I mean, women, we want to be sexual. We enjoy sex. So I figure, why can't we speak as freely as they do about it?
Gotcha.
Um, so I wanted to normalize that, definitely. And as for just my poetry in general, I just want to be that person that someone else sees just like I was that person watching other people, and to have them look at me the same way I looked at other people and say, you know what, I can do that too. I can do that. There's no reason why I can't. This person's doing this. This person's, this person's flourishing. This person is being free with themselves, because poetry requires vulnerability. It really does, because you're sharing parts of yourself with people that in some instances you don't even share with the people around you. So and it's scary. It's terrifying to lay yourself open like that. But I want to let people know by my example. I want to lead by example and say, hey, it's possible. I would have never thought when I first started that I would be published in a woman's anthology. I mean, I am working on my own personal book, but I never thought I would be published when this all started. None of this was on my radar. So whatever you want to do, it's possible. All you have to do is believe in self and have faith, and it's possible. And there's no level that you can't get to. And that's pretty much what I want my legacy to be as far as my writing is concerned.
Awesome. And Veronica, it's something that you say you speak erotic poetry so women can be open to speak that.
Mm-hmm.
I speak and write some erotic poetry. I always make sure it's one of like four erotic poems in my books, because I want women to know it's okay for you to enjoy sex, because for so long, it was like taboo, or, women, I would hear a lot of women say they didn't have an orgasm, and things like that. Like, well, we have the power to, I don't like to use the word control, but to manage, the situation or how the flow of the sex is going to go. So
Right.
we should definitely be enjoying ourselves more so, even than the men are. So that's why I speak that women would know, oh, sex is enjoyable,
Yeah, definitely. It's nothing to
your body, yourself, and what you want and how you want to feel and how certain things make you feel, and you go and
Yeah, it's not taboo, and it for so long it was.
Exactly. I
We were
to do that.
be quiet. Don't just don't express yourself. It's like if you do that, then it's not ladylike, or it's not this, or it's not that, and that's BS. I mean, it's BS as far as I'm concerned. It's just, if I want to talk about it, I'm gonna talk about it. And I feel like it should just be it should be just as commonplace for us as it is for men, to express ourselves that way. It's not just it's not just a male thing. It's just women, I think, are more sexual, I think, in a lot of ways than men. We really are. I think we have dirtier minds than they do, because we have a better, I don't know, we're more, I can say that for me, it's we're more, yes, we're more sensual, and it's here. So with us, and so it's on a deeper level. I guess I'm trying to say, and so that kind of sets us apart. So we are definitely between the two. If you were to ask me who's more sexual, I would say women, definitely,
because we bring the sexual, the sensual, and the emotional. And when you're coming,
and it's accommodation.
Yes, having sex from that perspective, it's a whole new ball game, and
Yes, it
especially
is.
it's a whole new ball game. You're like, whoa, I didn't know it could go like this, So yes, well, we're given that conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining, thank you. This is a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with a taste of the poet, Veronica J. And my darling, please give us a taste of you.
All right, let's see here. Um, hmm, wow. And then I hadn't really realized that there were so many of them now.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for joining also.
Uh, let's
Thank you,
see.
Rebellious. Pin, thank you. And Mama
Okay.
Dawn, thank you for joining. TT, the Poetic, thank you for joining.
All
We
right.
appreciate you guys.
I think I'm gonna do the one that I was talking about. The one that was written in about an hour and is currently in Touching Tongues. It's Melissa Prada's woman's erotic anthology where there's myself and there's about 30 of us all together
Oh,
in
wow.
that book. So if you guys wanna,
Congratulations.
thank you
Congratulations
so
on that.
much.
And congratulations on your new upcoming book.
Yes, yes. And it's kind of evolved because at first I was thinking, let me just because I see other, yeah, hey, let me put out a book of just of poetry, and I'm thinking I'll do that. But then it kind of like evolved into more about life experiences that I've gone through, as well as putting the poems along with that.
Right,
Um, to just kind of like go along with it, just to kind of give you an idea of me, because I think I want that book to be more of an introductory to who I am and the things that I have been through,
right.
um, and just kind of take it from there. So they kind of it complements each other. Different chapters have different poems that coincide with different experiences that I'm referring to.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah, but this one, yeah, I I wrote this one an hour before we did our Scent of a Woman on the Grapevine's Way. And then I went back to it and finished it because when I did perform it, I just felt like it wasn't quite done. So, anyways, I am putting out, if there's anybody 18 years, under 18 or anything like that, then you should leave at this point. Um,
This
just
is
putting out
strictly
there,
for the grown and sexy.
putting that disclaimer out right now. All right, so this poem is entitled "Allow Me," and it is the second piece that I wrote where I felt like I really just put it out there, and I didn't censor. I didn't censor myself. I just kind of said what I wanted to say. Okay. Allow me to pleasure you from behind, as soul and mind become one, under the soft warm direction of my tongue, writing instructions on every inch of your skin about how to make me come, screaming your name at the top of my lungs. Wet words becoming actions leading to vaginal contractions from the extractions of visceral reactions being used to keep my mind focused with no distraction. Focused on the direct action of making repeated 10-inch additions and subtractions from the bank of swollen pussy. See, I intend to stroke that kitten until it purrs from my vibrational transference of steam-filled currents concurrent to the movement of your hips. As I lay hands on everything bare before me, worshiping, slurping, and penetrating your treasure in sequential sequences. stroking away any and all grievances, making that pussy salivate and lubricate my descent until I have gone deeper than anyone has ever gone before. Putting my seal on your hallowed doors as you claw at sheets damp with juices, yelling, you know this fucking pussy is all yours. Is it really, baby? Tell me more. There is seduction in those sexual inflections, inducing me to make these walls cave in. I want to give you this strap until your head snaps back, then get on my knees and drink the fruits of my labor as your flavor intoxicates my tongue like slow gin. You've got my senses in a tailspin, with nipples hard and ready for you to suck them in. I need to feel your tongue punished with teasing lashes, giving me micro flashes of electricity passing through my nerve endings, making me the conductor of your energy. Light illuminating behind my eyes as your soft hands gently open up my thighs, and I'm biting my lip as you move closer to your pride. Both desire and need written across my expression, raw, vulnerable, and undisguised. As you advise me to hold these engorged lips open so that you can see the glaze that you have caused to weep from my clit and trickle down slowly, pooling at the base of my slit, and I can feel the butterfly at the pit of my stomach as you move closer, licking your lips. My eyes rolling to the back of my head as you start to take sips, and I get wetter as it gets better until I am begging for your plastic dick to lay claim to what's yours with every inch of you that I take. As I rake desperate fingernails across your luscious landscape on every single intake. Nowhere to run, nowhere to escape as you undrape my needs like unwanted clothing. I have no desire to be separated from you. I belong to you. Wait. It's your pussy now. There is no debate, and I can't wait to submit. Give you the control and become your dirty little bitch. I am dominant by nature, but I am also a switch, and tonight I will gladly beg and plead for each and every lick. Flick that magic tongue until I become your banana split with cream and a hard pink cherry on the top. Take me all in because I am filling, and I will hit every spot, percolating like Maxwell House, good to the very last damn drop. Top me with authority and spank me with that crop. Handcuff me, instruct me, whip me, scream. I scream for you to stop against a dominatrix backdrop, offering no resistance. Silently insistent that you continue this authoritative consistence until you procure my admittance of belonging to you and erupting in orgasmic brilliance. Meek and contrite. Take advantage of this shit because tonight is a glitch in the matrix. Tomorrow I will have you riding horseback, twitching, convulsing, and not knowing how to act as I'm laying it down with 10 inches of this thick, wide strap. bending that ass over and blowing out your motherfucking back. So, I ask you, will you allow me to do that? And that's that piece.
Well, girl, I'm tired. You done wore that child out, honey.
It's an intricate. It's definitely an intricate poem.
Yes, it is. I was like, oh my goodness. See, can I just, I mean, really be honest? I mean, I'm heterosexual, but I'm
Mhm.
like, well, they be putting it in and putting it down just as much as the brothers do. Y'all better go on.
Yeah, and this is what like I was saying before, this is just basically what I want to, it happens. And so to be able to speak freely about that, without it feeling like you
Can,
need to censor yourself.
can I say it? And it wasn't, what's that word? Um, it wasn't, it was tasteful. It wasn't, what's that other word? This, let me
With
see.
like
Raunchy. It
raunchy or
wasn't raunchy. It wasn't raunchy. That's what it was. Because
you're right.
I don't like raunchy,
No,
poems. You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah, I like to, all my erotic poems, I like to be sensual. It's not about being, I don't want to be crass at all. I just like to create a visual. I basically want the person to be, it's like an experience, and I want that person to be able to visualize what I'm talking about and to kind of go through the experience with me, but in a tasteful way. It's more, it's my poetry is more sensual, it's more romantic, you
yes.
know, that kind of like romantic erotic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
I
that's what I
totally,
like to convey. So
yeah.
I like to be, how can I be nasty without being nasty?
Yeah.
Basically.
It was
Yeah.
good. It was really, but I was like, oh, she done wore that poem out. I was like, honey, lesson learned
Uh,
today. Lesson learned. So, but that was a nice poem. I like that. Thank you.
appreciate it. I
Now,
appreciate it.
we it's that time in the show where I ask three
Mm,
questions according to my
mm.
three points. One of your
Okay.
deepest thoughts, one of your favorite expressions, and one of your dirty little secrets.
Ooh.
And your dirty little secret, it could be, I mean, anything, like something you might have ate all the cookies, grandma's cookies before any of the other kids got there. It could be anything, from one extreme to the other, whatever you would like to
Mm.
share with us.
Okay, let's see. I'll start with that one then. Dirty little secret, little known fact, I guess. I am definitely that person that I can, yeah, I know I convey this very, huge sense of confidence and all of that. And it's true. It is part of who I am. But at the same time, I watch a movie and it could be random, okay? And I will sit up there and cry like a baby watching these movies. I'm such a softie. Like I will watch certain movies and it'll just touch me in certain ways, and I'm sitting up there literally, uh, wiping tears and things. Yeah, I'm.
Veronica, I don't know if anyone has ever told you, but the ones who are most passionate and strong and outgoing and the go-getters, yeah, we're the sobby saps that sit and cry because we feel
Mm-hmm.
so much,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometimes I forget that I'm like that. And people say, because I've been told, I've learned years ago, was empath, and I'm like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it, you know what I mean, because
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at something or talk to somebody, I'll be like, why did I do that?
Right.
And then I'm like, oh my God, this is not even me. I took on their stuff. So then I got to cleanse, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's a good thing, you know what I mean? Because I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want to be around anybody who doesn't feel anything. That's a dangerous person,
Right.
you know?
Right. It is. It really is.
So the versatile vixen, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but vixen said sensitive is sexy now. So, oh, wait, Veronica, okay. You came back on. You were spinning for a second. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, all those little cute, I was watching oh, let me see. I think it's called like A Dog's Purpose or A Dog's
Mm-hmm.
Journey or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I lost one of my pets over the summer. So it was just like it was so emotional for me. I was just sitting there just holding the pillow and so yeah, that's definitely me.
One of your cats died.
No, I actually had a shepherd. He was mixed with blue heeler. He was about 100 pounds.
Oh,
Um Real handsome boy, and he had cancer and didn't find out until till it was too late. And he showed no signs except for his breathing. His breathing was off, and took him to the vet, and he had a tumor around his heart. So
wow.
they tried, to get the fluid off because it was causing fluid to go into his lungs, and
Right.
ended up having to have them come to the house, and you know yeah. So
Oh, our
it was bad.
condolences.
It was hard. It was very hard. So
Yep.
um so
Oh,
things like that trigger, different emotions and all of that. But it could even be something feel good, and I'll still, yeah, still get emotional about it. It's like I'm just a big baby. That's all. So,
right, right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. Now, give me one of your favorite expressions.
ooh, are we talking about like facial expressions or like
No,
just
like something that you say, like something you say. One of my
oh,
favorite expressions is
my
cool
favorite
beans.
my favorite one is it is what it is.
Yeah. She said it is what it is. We not
It is
arguing.
what
We
it
not.
is. Mm-hmm. I started saying that when I was in college, and still it's like, yeah, it is what it, and I say it, I still find myself saying it. Well, when things happen and it's just kind of like either I saw it coming or I knew it was going to happen, and I'm just like, it is what it is.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I like
Mm-hmm.
that. Now, one of your deepest thoughts,
Ooh, my deepest thoughts.
and it don't have to be deep where we solving the world's crisis, but I be talking about girl. Okay, well, did everybody hear that? We need to go out. And, no, but
I
something.
just my deepest thought is I always wonder why things are the way that they are. I've been kind of going back and looking at documentaries on YouTube about Black history,
Mhm,
Tulsa,
mhm.
um, you know, so many different lynchings,
Mm,
riots. I mean, to the point where I didn't even know until recently, very recently, and this all goes back to knowing your history. I
mhm.
did not know that there are a lot of man-made lakes that have Black communities basically buried underneath them. I didn't even know, being a New Yorker, I did not know that Central Park was built over
Mm.
a prominent Black community.
Mm-hmm.
And these are just things that just it makes my brain hurt sometimes, and I just wonder, why are these things, that's got to be one of my deepest thoughts. Yes, why are these things allowed to happen?
Right.
Why does this keep perpetuating? Why does this keep happening? Why? And it's almost like we're going back to it in a way.
Well,
We haven't learned anything. We're repeating history with the things that are going on now. Because when I was growing up, okay, these were things that you heard about. These are things that the schools didn't even really tell you about.
mm-hmm.
These are things that I learned from having a great grandmother. I was lucky enough, fortunate enough to be raised by my great grandmother and to listen to her stories, because she lived it,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to tell me how these things actually went. Um, and it's one thing to hear about it. It's a whole nother thing to just see the reality of what is happening now,
Exactly.
especially with technology, where people are filming things, and you can't push it under the rug. It's right there.
Yes.
And I think that's what it is. I just kind of ponder that sometimes and just say, why?
Yeah, and
Why?
to wait a minute, and to put icing on the cake, that it's intentional, that
Exactly.
these things have been thought out and planned out and executed and things of that nature.
Right.
So,
Right. And it's just so much. And then you think about the level of evil,
mm-hmm.
the level of hatred that has to go
Mm-hmm.
into that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just mind boggling. It really is.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I'm with you on that one, and I'm sure a lot of people are. But the one thing I do pray is that uh, lessons have been learned, that we don't have to go through that again. Because,
Yeah,
well,
that's a
one thing, now check
history.
this out. Hold on. Because in order for that to be repeated, we got to go further back to when we
Mm-hmm.
were ruling things for years and years and years. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? So if it's going to be a
Right.
repeat, it's going to have to start from
The
the beginning.
beginning. Right. And
So, honey, you might
that's
be on to
another
something.
thing.
You
Yeah,
might
you
be
can
on to something.
just, yeah,
You understand?
it's something that I think about, the history, and why isn't, that's another thing. Why is that not taught more prevalently? But of
Because it
course,
had to be covered up. Because if you see, the thing is, when we come into who we really are, oh, a whole lot
mm,
of things are going to change. Do you understand?
mm,
Like what we're doing now, the reading, the to be able, everybody can't. First of all, everyone can't hold a conversation with.
true.
You understand?
This is true.
So
Hmm.
many people don't read. That's another reason why things are not addressed, because people don't read books. They go on strictly what somebody else is telling them.
Telling them,
You
yes.
you could sit, churches be packed out. It might be 100 people who actually read and study their Bible.
Listen, I grew up in the church. I was that kid. There was prayer and Bible study. There was junior choir. There was, all kinds of things going on at church. And it's that whole experience of people being there, and it was just more so for show,
Mm-hmm.
mostly.
Yeah.
There were people that you wouldn't see until Easter Sunday came along. You know how that is.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to break out with that Easter gear and be seen and all that. And then
Mm-hmm.
those same people you wouldn't see until next
Mother's
Easter
Day.
Sunday,
Mother's Day. They come on Easter Sunday, Mother's Day, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve.
New Year's. Yeah. And you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't see them any other time.
See them yet. Honey, they had to go get right with the Lord.
Yeah, exactly. So I grew up with that whole mentality. And it's true. It's almost like people are they're compartmentalized to the point. It's like we have forgotten. It's like brains have been erased, wiped to the point where you don't remember who you are.
Yes, and
And
they
if you
erased
don't
it.
know who you are, you don't know where you're going.
Exactly. Why you think they like cut off the noses on the statues and stuff in Africa? They
Hmm.
they took the knowledge, the readings and the writings, and they burned a lot of that stuff also. So we
Hmm.
wouldn't know. And then they also brainwashed the Africans that are there, because I asked several Africans, what were you taught? Like, what religion or what spirituality or what were you taught? They're like, they're either Christians, Muslims. That's it. They don't even know about the teachings of our ancestors themselves. You know.
No, no,
So,
it's just a lost history.
but one thing
And
I can say from doing some studying, that everybody wasn't privy to the knowledge, and there was a reason
no,
for it, because you had to be prepared to receive that stuff, because knowledge is power, and knowledge is a form, when used, it can be used to manipulate. And I talk about that in my poems. Look at all the Jews that are dead. Look at slavery. That stuff is real. You can, and just in your everyday life, and it's been taught. It's being taught. It's still in action. The Bible. If you don't do this, you're gonna go. You understand what I'm saying?
right, right.
So I'm telling you, it's how you treat your children, or we treat our children, the beatings. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna, beat my child for everything. And God
Mm,
taught me that everything doesn't warrant a whooping. Talk to
right.
him, explain, tell him why.
Communicate.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And guess what? I've had such success with that.
Mm,
So yeah, but my thing is, it starts with us. It starts,
definitely. Hmm.
so change has occurred. It's not happening as fast as we want it to, but it's happening.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? So, and
yeah.
I'm glad that you said that things are going back. Oh yeah, if it goes back, that means it's got to go back to, honey, when we was in. What?
It's like you're coming full circle.
It's on and popping, baby. It's our time. It's our time to rise. It's our time to rule. The authority has been shifted.
Yeah, it's just I really just it would be in a perfect world, it would just be so nice if we could just focus on just treating each other with respect and treating each other like human beings and just living life and not letting all this other stuff come into play. Just be happy, do you, and not, you don't have to get into this person's business, or you don't have to, why are we disliking this person because of this, or disliking this person because of that. Let that person be, let that person be who they're gonna be. It's not for you to tell them who to be or who not to be.
What's really strange is that there's something lovable about everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody. There's something to like, something to learn, something to,
Hmm.
you understand? But like you said, because it's not a perfect world, and it's
Exactly.
changing. But I can tell you that the more I learn and the more I grow, because I remember I was taught not to talk to or hang out with people who were Jehovah Witnesses or Muslims, or not by my
Hmm.
parents. This
Hmm.
came through the church, whatever. But I'm so glad I did not listen. That
Exactly.
stuff stunts your growth. It
It does.
stops you from,
It does.
interacting with people you need in your life, because you
Right.
understand that person has something that could very well just set me free, or vice versa.
Exactly. You have to be open minded. It's
Mhm.
just, because a lot of times you will overlook people simply because of some preconceived notion about how this person is supposed to be based on the mess that somebody else told you.
Exactly.
And instead of having or being enriched by having phenomenal human beings in your life, you
Hmm.
will just push people to, not even consider people, basically,
Right.
simply because of what, this perception that we have of each other. And
Exactly.
it's just crazy. You never know where you might find a best friend. You never know where you might find, that confidant, or I am a firm believer that, there is family. I mean, there's family that are blood and all of that, but
Hmm.
um I think in a lot of ways you create your own family as well.
Yes. Yes.
And in my experience, I've had people, or do have people in my life, that have been um just as much family to me as the people that I share DNA with. So you just never know where your blessings are going to come from.
Right.
And they always seem to come from the places you least expect.
Exactly. Exactly. I totally agree. Totally agree. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, thank you. Well, wait a minute. I definitely want you to do another poem before you go. And,
Okay.
well, wait, before you do that, I wanted to say congratulations on your book that's coming out and other projects that are due to be released this year. And tell us about your online show where people can find that before you do your last poem, please, before you give us your last taste of you, um, so they
Okay.
can tune in, follow, and all that good stuff.
All right. Well, as you said, I'm on Instagram. You can find me on my page at Poet Veronica J. In addition to that, I am a host on the Grapevine Sway, which is a phenomenal platform on Instagram as well. Um, I have not been live in a while, but I will be live tomorrow. So I'll
At
be
what
live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. and that will be on the Grapevine Sway. So come through, bring your words. We are going to have a good time tomorrow night. So just putting that out there ahead of time. Looking forward to it. I haven't done the live in a while, and I miss it. I was sick for a few weeks back around the Christmas time period, and I think it was a pretty bad case of the flu, turns out. But it definitely shut me down for a while. So
Wow.
um and took me a while to get back to feeling like myself, but I am back up and running and ready to get back into it. So definitely stop by and put in a request, and I'll bring you up and we're gonna share some poetry tomorrow night.
Excellent. Now,
Yeah.
please, ladies and gentlemen, incline your ears to hear a taste of the poet Veronica J.
All right. I think I'm gonna close out with it's a shorter poem, but it's a poem that I did for a prompt. Actually, it started off about, I think it was about white lies, and I entitled it "Damage" because it basically is talking about a toxic experience that I had with someone, situationship, whatever you want to call it, and it went on for quite some time, and this basically just kind of chronicles that. But I always like to tell a story and kind of give you the experience that I went through as well as what I took from it and learned from it. So, um, let's see. All right. So that's what I'm going to close it out with. Those damaging white lies. Pretending to be okay with being second in line. For over a decade, I was romantically intertwined with a demon, masquerading as the feminine divine. consigning my soul to a silent torment until my heart became dormant from being your backup in case your number one caused you any disappointment. I let you apply your half-ass ointment to wounds you caused countless times to reopen, and I kept my ears open and allowed your evil tongue to spew fantasies about an alternate reality in which I wasn't the runner-up, and I was in fact your priority. Until I had to face the fact that whenever you spoke of an us, you were just speaking metaphorically. In the beginning, I took in all of your bullshit euphorically. But the cold, hard truth was that every picture of words you exchanged with me was merely an evil allegory with no real moral to a broken story. You were a pretty face spouting fanciful white lies, laughing on the inside at all my feeble tries to be treated as more than an option. And I refused to let go even as you stripped me naked of my dignity and routinely deprived me of my oxygen, dangling me at the end of your string. Your own private puppet subject to punishment of your merciless manipulating, playing your emotional games. How many times did I both scream and curse your fucking name in duality? But gradually, the hold that you had on me began to fade, and self-worth became the sharpened blade that cut your existence out of my heart at the root. And those awful white lies finally met their demise by being drowned out by the truth. That piece.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Honey, I am so glad you came on the show. This has been.
Hey, I'm glad that you know that you asked me to come onto the show. It's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with the sensational from one-on-one poetry out of Mr. William's mouth. The sensational, phenomenal poet Veronica J.
Thank you guys. I appreciate each and everybody that came through. I appreciate all of you, truly.
Veronica, oh, before you leave, give them some
Mm-hmm.
words of encouragement.
Ooh, well, I will say this. No matter what somebody tells you, because people will throw salt, especially when they see that you are doing what is passionate. When they start seeing your passion come to fruition, a lot of times people will try to dissuade you from doing what you really want to do. And I would say to you that you have to live your life, not that person. And if it feels good to you, then you be you. You do what makes you feel good to do. You do what drives you. You do what you're passionate about. Because a lot of times people will say those things only because they're envious of the fact that you took that chance that they're too scared to take. So, never let someone else's fear of success keep you from your own.
Mm. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been great. I mean, I'm just glad that because I've I see you here and there, and it's just good to be able to actually sit here and talk to you. So,
Yes, yes, definitely. I was
yeah.
looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, well, I'm gonna get out of here. Once again, thank you for having me. Thank everybody that is here in this room. This I always say that this is like a family. Um, Everyone supporting and uplifting. It's just been such a positive experience for me. People checking on me when I was sick. You guys are awesome. So, and I just feel blessed to just be a part of it. So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, definitely.
All right, you guys, you have a blessed night, and I will see you around, I'm sure.
Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, you said?
Yes, ma'am. I will be on the Grapevine Sway tomorrow night. I'm making my return to live. I will be having an open mic, so all are welcome. Come through. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever you feel like spitting, I'm here to hear it. So can't wait.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, Miss Veronica, just tap the X.
I will. All right. You have a good night. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. This has been an absolutely wonderful show. I so enjoyed myself. And I will see you guys next Tuesday evening at 10 p.m. And yes, again, I kept saying, okay, I gotta look at the calendar. Who's coming next? Who's coming next? And of course, I didn't look at the calendar because time just gets away from me sometimes. But thank you so much. And I can say, Versatile Vixen, I'm coming for you, sweetie. I'll be in your inbox. So, you guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Good night. See you next Tuesday evening at 10 p.m.